Welcome into the Bro Force Squad podcast, where we are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is our movie commentary of Madam Web. I am your host, the Mayor Jeff Hornacek, joined by our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli. We are here to watch the movie Madam Web and give you a commentary track on it. We currently have our movies paused at the 11-second mark with the Sony logo up on the screen. It is on Netflix as of now, but who knows whenever you're listening to this, if it's a post-apocalyptic world, it might be on Skloobity Flob, the new streaming service. So while you get sunk up with us, let's go around and meet the fellow bro. Cycli, legal question for you. What sort of case do I have if I know that my mother was killed while researching spiders in the Amazon?
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't have much. It's called a force majeure, and it's an act of God. And spiders, as we know, are doing God's bidding. So there's not much you can do there.
I wasn't hopeful, but I thought I would at least ask.
If it was a poisonous ant, armadillo, something like that, yeah, you're good. But no, dude, when it comes to spiders, unfortunately, you're handcuffed.
I'm glad we have you. We know that you're one of the best insect law attorneys.
Absolutely.
Around.
Yeah. People made fun of me. It was a very niche subject, but I said, who's laughing now is what I
say. Who's laughing now, guy?
Yeah.
Over his
with my
own.
$0 a year salary. It's great.
Plus benefits. All right, we are going to begin Madam Web in 3, 2, 1, play.
Can I just say we started this podcast off with a lot more positivity than I expected. I don't know if this is our first time listening to the Bro Force Squad, this is how fucked up we are. Neither of us are excited about watching this movie, but we've just read so many awful things that it just pulled us in.
Did you and I know we discussed it on pod, but did we ever do a Morbius commentary?
Yeah.
We did do one?
Yeah, I watched it one day and then we watched it again.
That's right. Yeah, because you were like reading self-help books because you watched Morbius 2 times in like a 48-hour time period.
If honestly, I'm so sick that I probably, if this had been an option, I would have just kept the party going. And by my party, I mean just misery.
So this is, of course,
just pile it on.
Sony still owns in perpetuity, as long as they keep making films, the rights to Spider-Man and all the connected characters, and they've licensed Spider-Man back to Marvel to make the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies and include him in the Avengers for a profit-sharing deal, which has actually been it's a rare thing for companies to play ball like that, but it's been a genius move for them. But this is, of course, part of them trying to milk every IP out of the Spider-Man catalog that they have, with their Spider-Man adjacent universe being, of course, Morbius, the Venom movies, Madam Web, and then Kraven the Hunter coming out in December. And this is, I think most of those movies are bad. Obviously, Kraven hasn't come out yet. So it almost has like a reputation to uphold. Like, you can't be good if you're going to be one of the Spider-Man adjacent properties.
Do you think, honestly, like, before we start making fun of this movie and its awful dialogue, do you think there's an intent there because of how Marvel's established themselves? Like, are they going for a shtick? Because it's not like the IP demands bad delivery here, right? Like, it's kind of like, when we watch some of the Star Wars movies and things like that, like, you have good subject matter. It's the application that's the problem. And watching Morbius, it seems like they're not in on the joke, but it was a joke. But then they, you don't know if they are or not.
Well,
are they that smart or are they dumb?
With Morbius, it's kind of like after it came out, everyone's like, "This is fucking awful," and the people who made Morbius were like, "Yeah, we know it was supposed to be."
Yeah, wait, what?
No.
It's Morbin time, am I right?
Exactly. But they're digging so deep into their bag of characters. Like, Madam Web in the comics has like a 20-issue run in total, and she is like a 90-year-old clairvoyant who, like, Peter sometimes comes to, like,
when he's
basically, yeah, they hook up a bunch. No. So for her to get like her own movie was pretty. I'm trying to think of another like analogous. I'm trying to think of like a Harry Potter character. It'd be like Harry's parents getting their, like, not his wizard parents, like his Muggle parents getting a movie.
Oh yeah, like something like, I would, because his parents, I would absolutely love to see it. No one needs to see the Muggle story.
I was gonna say Dobby, but Dobby's even like probably got too much lore. This is the villain, and you can tell because he's a villain.
Black hair and a mustache.
Yeah.
With the top button unbuttoned, which I know when you do that, you're up to something.
Well, that's just to get chicks.
Well, you're up to something.
Just little doodles.
So just so everyone knows, I'm coming into this blind. I had seen things on Twitter and Reddit just kind of making fun of it, some quotes and dialogue and scenes that have made the internet, just everyone making fun of it. You are a little more experienced with this film. What 10 minutes you've watched?
I got 10 minutes in earlier today, and I didn't stop it because it was so bad. Although it was so bad, I just had to go eat.
Which is wow.
Yeah, evilness.
Just starts.
Now she's pregnant with Dakota Johnson, who is Madam Web, but he needs the spider because of reasons.
This, I'm not trying to be funny. This already feels like a made-for-TV. The way the camera work, cinematography right now is awful. I don't know if you're talking about the dialogue.
And I told you the thing I picked up on is all the dialogue is expository. So like a character will just say like he just said his whole backstory. When I was an orphan, no one cared about my parents. Like that has nothing to do. Like you don't need to give me your life story in this moment. And it gets even worse here in a little bit when we flash forward to present day.
Like this is the type of thing that's what I'm saying. Are they in on the joke? Because there's no way a professional filmmaker is watching this and be like, yeah, this is good shit.
The woman who directed this, let me pull up her name. She'd done a lot of like decent TV. She was very well respected, and people were. S.J. Clarkson is her name.
It does feel like TV right now. That's what I'm going to stick with. That doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It just feels like I'm watching a movie on TNT.
These guys I love. Everyone in here is supposed to like kind of look like Spider-Man if they like run across your face real quick. Like, was that Spider-Man?
I thought these were the putties from Power Rangers.
God, I wish.
Have those guys ever won a fight like once?
Have they even like tried to attack? So they took her to an underground rave, and even though she's pregnant, they're gonna have her take some Molly.
Feels very East German in here.
It's like, just so you know, Rammstein is like all just on the playlist. Spider's biting her because it's Spider-Man adjacent, obviously.
She's really enjoying it, though. So I have all these people. Okay, so again, I'm not as into the Marvel characters as you are. I don't know. I'm familiar with Madam Web outside of the brief stuff we just talked about. Are these all people who have also been bitten by powerful spiders? Radioactive spiders?
I have no idea. I Madam Web, her powers in the comics are like really. She's like a psychic, basically. So if she got bitten by a radioactive spider, I have not seen her like exhibit much.
But the rest of these people in this rave room.
It's a good question. I don't know.
Like, who are they? I guess.
Well, that was Tom who was holding her.
Oh. So do we just jump ahead in time?
2003.
Okay, there it is. Yep, there it is. I think I saw this scene on Love the Blockbuster there. I think I saw this on online.
Adam Scott is playing Uncle Ben, young Uncle Ben here.
Do you think there's just some like fetish with getting Uncle Ben and things and then killing him? Like I just they really like revisiting. I guess it's like up there with Bruce Wayne's parents. Like no matter how many reiterations we get of those stories, we always get like I just want to see them die.
But you know what's interesting? No, and I mean there would probably be riots in the streets if someone did this, but no one ever does anything like different with it.
No, they don't.
And maybe that would be sacrilegious, but you would think something that's done so much, one person would be like, let me fucking mix it up.
I mean, there's so many iterations. Why not? Like they change everything else. So is this meant to be? Which Spider-Man are they relating this to? The most recent.
I have an interesting story about that. So Sony was unsure during the filming of this movie. Now Peter Parker is in his mom is pregnant with him in this movie. So I guess
so 2003 is.
Yeah, so it probably would have had to have been Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland's. There was a post-credit scene that was shot for this, and they removed it from all cuts before it was released into theaters. Apparently, people just said whatever the post-credit scene was that it didn't make any sense with any continuity. I'm assuming they tried to like shovel in another character or something.
I mean, that was the Morbius end credits, if you remember that.
Right, where Michael Keaton even goes, I have no idea what that was, but they paid me like $80,000 for 14 minutes.
Which I respect because that's exactly what I would do. I'd be like, you know what? Just give me the money. I'll do whatever you want
If
me
the
to
check clears, I will show up.
Yeah.
It's Michael Keaton. No one's gonna be like, well, his career was great except for that Morbius post-credit scene. That's a real black guy.
do. Really,
So
he went downhill from
Sydney
there.
Sweeney is supposed to be like a 17-year-old in this movie, and you can tell because she has overalls on.
Well, of course, yeah. And those clips in her hair.
Janie Briggs. No, she has glasses and overalls.
Oh, paint on the...
God.
It's one of the best. So wait, do we know? Okay, Sydney Sweeney, I know has a big role in this. Like, or I don't know how big, but like, does she? I mean, is her character also part of the lore? Or is this like created for the movie?
Yeah. So the three like teenage girls in this, Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, who's actually going to be Hawk Girl in the DCU, and Celeste O'Connor are like. In the future, they become like some version of spider heroes, and I'm not sure if any of them have actual like comic.
Now, again,
connection.
as between all of the Spider-Man movies that we've gotten, including, I mean, literally all of them, are there any references to any of these characters, or is this like we're all playing blind and acting like, oh no, all this happened in the universe, but it just happened to never be mentioned? Like,
If there
I mean, I
are,
don't remember him in the original Spider-Man.
no,
Like,
I can't remember any connection to them, and depending like which continuity you're talking about, like this can't be in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man because
impossible.
he would be Spider-Man at this time.
And also,
Because-
yeah, Uncle Ben is like in his early 40s. So.
Right. Now, he mentions May right here. He's like, I just met a girl. So that's Aunt May. So, like, maybe the post-credit scene was like he meets Marissa Tomei, and that would have revealed that it was Tom Holland's.
I really wish he's like, I met a girl. Her name's Aunt May. Like, why did you call her Aunt
He's
May?
like, well, why
Don't
did you
worry
call her
about
that?
it.
And my sister's Emma Roberts. That's Peter Parker's mom. Well, but she hasn't given birth yet, has she? Just, okay.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, so this has to take place extremely early. I mean, again, maybe when I think back to like the Spider-Man iterations, like Uncle Ben and Aunt May are like older. Is that necessarily true to the comics, right? Do they have to be so much older? Maybe not.
Yeah, because like Marissa Tomei is, you know, not like ancient.
She still could get it.
Absolutely. I think, but again,
the hell out of here.
In New York, no one gives a fuck, bro.
I'm walking here.
Oh yeah, this is great acting here, or great dialogue here. Clearly, like she's fending for herself, Isabella Merced.
This film so far is really reminding me. I don't think you've ever watched it, but like, there's a Futurama episode, one of my favorites, where the robot devil is watching a play written by Fry, and he's the only one critiquing. Like everyone's dumbed down and like just like really loving it. He's like, you can't have your characters tell people how they feel. That makes me feel angry. And that's literally what this movie is. Like, you're supposed to be subtle and talking abstract, and this movie is very just like, I am this. I feel this way. Like that line happening when she walked in the apartment building. Aren't we not supposed to give milk to our cats? I mean, come on.
That is a very, like, this happens so much in movies where cats just, like, walk in and start eating your food. What, are you paying rent here?
I mean, you were a New Yorker for a time. I mean, how often did this happen to you?
That's true. I fed probably 2 to 3 different cats per week. So she doesn't know how to feel emotions. That girl that she saved her mother in the ambulance, or the kid, drew her a little picture, and she doesn't know what to do with it.
I mean, it's like when you get Christmas cards. You put it on the fridge, but you're like, at what point am I allowed to throw this away?
Yeah.
Like day after Christmas? Does that feel insensitive? New Year's?
That's good enough. Did it have a nice life on the fridge? So she's very pensive now. She's going to go look at her box of things that her dead mother left her when she was killed in the Amazon while researching spiders.
Who took a photo of her taking a photo is my question.
It's pretty meta, isn't it?
I hope someone is taking a photo of that person taking the photo of someone taking a photo.
Whoa.
How far does it go?
Those are condoms, just in case.
That'd be really nice of the mom to leave. Hey, don't make the same mistakes I did.
She's like, this is a spider, and I got bored, so I doodled a little web, too.
Does she have okay. I know we get dialogue later on about it, but she is aware that a spider, like she thinks a spider killed the mom. Like, is she aware of this?
I think she thinks she was killed while research, because that's the line of
Right.
dialogue,
I know
right?
she was killed. She doesn't know, like, in the context of, like,
Well, a spider. I mean, you're gonna blame the spider for killing her. She got shot.
right. But does she know that?
I don't know if she knows like exactly how she died, but I don't think she blames spiders.
Okay. It'd be really funny if, like, every time she saw a spider, she's like, "Fuck you." Oh, I
I
think
don't know.
this is the scene I saw.
Yeah, I don't know like procedure for the ambulance people, but like, is the most important thing here getting this guy's name,
I think it has to do more with
calming them down?
yeah, like getting them to, like, so you remember when I was robbed at the ice cream store?
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like, I remember getting annoyed, but they kept asking me really basic questions. And yeah, I think there's an idea that, like, that has to do with getting their brain to calm down and focus change.
Interesting.
Because I remember being like, why do you care what my name is or how long I've been working at this TCBY? Okay, so this is like, is this something that, like, is triggered by adrenaline all of a sudden? And that,
Yeah,
like,
so
why all
that
of a sudden is this
I think when she
happening?
was born, that spider bit her or something, gave her
Right.
some powers, and obviously it only gets awakened when you fall into the Hudson Bay trapped inside of a Cadillac.
See, it's very specific how it gets triggered.
It's like we don't know if this will ever happen, but if it does,
I mean,
you're
how
in.
old is she? Early 30s? I mean, like, how is this the first time? Because she's obviously a paramedic. It's not like she probably hasn't had a few close calls dealing with intense stuff. This is an incredibly corny scene. My God.
She's like, "What happened?" He's like, "Well, you drink absinthe that's in the middle of the day at lunch."
Again?
Yeah, I know. It's been a problem.
Yeah, I'm very I mean, okay, do you agree though that this feels like a TV movie? Like, it doesn't feel
I
like
mean,
it's a cinematic experience right now.
I mean, like it looks televisual for
Yeah.
sure. The dialogue is what everyone has been raving about as the what's worth the price of admission because it's so bad.
How close were you to seeing this in theaters?
Um, I definitely wasn't like completely against it.
Yeah, like, what is it just it feels like it's, I have to imagine it is aware of itself. I don't know. I felt like Morbius wasn't as aware of itself.
I will say this:
It took itself a little more seriously. I don't
it's
know.
like the NBA. It's what like the NBA and the NFL, right? Being in the middle does no good for you. Like in a draft, getting like the 12th through the 18th pick is horrible. You either need to be like a really good movie, or you need to be so bad that
Right.
like this right now. Everything that I've seen, like it's doing insane numbers on Netflix because it's so awful.
I think,
Like,
again, this generation that we have, we watch movies more than ever. I think it's because everything's accessible, right?
mhm.
Like, when we were in teenagers and not everything was accessible, we had to pay to go to the movies. Now it's like, dude, like getting on Twitter or Reddit, like, and people start making fun of stuff, you want to be part of that.
Oh yeah, this one. I mean, maybe I'm overstating it, but it was like in the zeitgeist to where it was like people were like, dude, you have to see it because it's so bad. Like people were recommending it, anti-recommending it, I guess.
So her oxygen level was like, what, 89, and then all of a sudden she's freaked out about that. I don't know. Is that bad or
Like she
good?
had too much oxygen. You're breathing too good.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about that scene. They didn't really say. I guess oxygen should be at 95. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not an oxygenologist
I
anymore.
thought you've been holding yourself out as one. You breathe so much oxygen. I just felt like you would know.
I do. It's a passion of mine. I don't want to turn it into
Mm,
work.
that's very fair. Is this the guy from the beginning?
Hmm.
He has aged spectacularly. I mean, what, it's been 33 years?
Did he pick up a chick at the opera? Nice.
I mean, yeah, that's the place to pick up chicks.
Who goes to the opera by themselves, though? That's the hard part.
A guy picking up chicks. Don't tell me you're at the opera, you see a guy by himself, and you're not a little intrigued. You're like, what's
That's
his
true.
story?
Yeah,
Why is he here by himself?
What brought him here?
He's so mysterious. And they're just going for it. Wow.
Why not? He wants her to get bit by the spider, I bet. That's a little kinky. Is the spider pregnant or just has a nice donk?
Uh-oh. He's going through something. This is great acting.
Pain. He's a tortured soul.
Because the beginning of the movie took place in 1977, right? That's what it said?
Yeah, okay, so this is the whole movie. It's like him seeing these three spider people, killing him in the future, and so he, in the present, wants to kill them before they get their powers.
Well, of course. Who hasn't? I always love these kind of stories. The same with Harry Potter and Voldemort. Like, the people who visualize that something's going to happen to them. I think that we have, like, ancient texts, and from Roman stories, like, doing this, or Greek gods, right? Like, they have a prophecy, and so they try to stop it, but they're just fulfilling the prophecy. Like, one of my favorite themes of Harry Potter was, like, if Voldemort actually ignored the prophecy, nothing would happen, but that's how prophecy works. It takes all the parties. So the fact that he's seeking them out, like...
It's like the whole premise of Minority Report.
Yeah, exactly. You can
like if you arrest me,
just stop.
If you arrest me to prevent a crime, I didn't actually do it yet. I mean, I was gonna. I'm gonna be murdered someday.
She's like, that's hot.
It's like, it's three hot chicks that kill me. She's like, okay, you sure you weren't just like...
Honestly, Sydney Sweeney could kill me.
If she deemed that appropriate, I'm sure she has her reasons.
I would ask for a specific type of death.
And I would let Isabella Merced kill me too.
Yeah, all three of them.
I haven't seen enough of Celeste O'Connor, but she's definitely not ugly. After having that dream and you wake up to this, I mean, normally she'd be hot, but it's like, oh, you're a little beat.
Nothing wrong with a MILF, maybe GILF.
You could tell Cycly, this is genius production design, that he was older in the dream he had because his hair was gray.
Oh, so I like that he aged barely at all from 1977 to 2003. But from 2003 until that moment he aged horribly.
It was a rough, 4 or 5 years. The stock market got really bad. He's also a Canucks fan, and they made some pretty stupid trades.
Wouldn't wish that upon anyone. Also, did he just meet this woman? He is very honest with her.
He feels comfortable around her. I feel like they shared more than just love for the opera.
He's talking about the NSA, like...
That's just pillow. That's good pillow talk. That's good pillow talk, yeah. Giving each other NSA passwords.
She is being kind of like giving that sexy eye. Oh.
She has a gun in her.
Oh. Ooh, she was... Wow, so she was an agent?
Did he poison... Is please your password? Actually, it is. But I needed a number, so the E is a 3, actually.
Ooh, that's actually pretty good. I'm going to start using that.
That is very clever, my lady.
My work makes me update my password like once a month. I'm like, dude, I don't know enough words in the English language. I'm sorry.
How did he poison her? Like, what did he do? Was his dick the poison?
Probably.
Yeah,
he's like, you really think I was into a woman like you?
I love the view. He's like, you are a Sagittarius. My work, every time I log into my work email, it says it has to send me a text code, and every time I do, I click the "Don't do this again for 60 days" checkbox.
Yeah.
But every fucking time I log in, it has to send me the code. I'm like, what happened to you asking me for 60
No, they
days?
were asking, but they weren't saying we're going to do it. They're just like, would you like?
Okay, that's good. We were conducting a survey. Hey, barbecue fun. Mike Epps is here. What if he was just actually playing Mike Epps?
Hey, it's me, Mike Epps. Always like the grill master. I feel like wearing a short sleeve button up shirt is imperative when you're grilling.
Oh yeah, Pepsi and Mountain Dew, big time product placement here. You know, normally I would like a nice, refreshing Pepsi, but I think I would prefer a beer right now.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Mountain Dew. I was like, oh, you're being bad. Are you being bad? We're all drinking Mountain Dews.
Well, they had Mountain Dews in the break room at the hospital.
God, when was the last time you had a Mountain Dew?
Dude, I was never a Mountain Dew guy to begin
Neither
with.
was I.
It was probably like 7th or 8th grade. I literally have not drank one.
I never understood. You know who was
30.
Our favorite basketball player in our middle school?
Yep. Oh,
who
yeah.
never had anger problems.
No.
Loved.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was weird.
Yeah, some people have like weird obsession with it. But also, when was the last time you went? And again, I'm not talking about like, oh, people need to drink beer to be cool. I don't give a shit. You know, you want to drink, you don't drink. What I'm saying is, when was the last
But
time
if you want to
a-
be cool, you're gonna drink.
yeah, you do. But when was the
Hey,
last
it's
time you
Emma
went to it
Roberts.
and you just saw adults casually drinking Mountain Dew and Pepsis?
I would just think you're a recovering alcoholic. There's Peter Parker in her stomach.
How much do you think he got paid for that cameo?
What if Tom Holland's like, I want royalties for this? Like, Tom, what?
Some bullshit.
I didn't see Aunt May in the cast list. She was obviously just mentioned, but like I said, my guess was that would have been the post-credit scene, like a Marissa Tomei showing up.
Oh, I mean, I wonder why they would have ditched it if that's what it was, though. You know?
Yeah, maybe Feige was like, don't fucking take our characters. The sundress quota for this party, my God, she's like the only one there in red leather.
Oh, it's is this a baby shower?
I guess a BBQ baby shower.
Oh, that's fun.
The girl in the yellow dress looks like a lettuce wrap Jennifer Garner.
Oh my God, yeah, she does. Like, really. Whatever happened to... Oh, wait, what did she get? Oh, God.
In childbirth while she was researching spiders in the Amazon. Okay, you don't have to say that every time you mention her.
What the fuck could you imagine saying that at a baby shower to the mother?
But you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You're not researching spiders in the Amazon, so you're fine.
She's like, but I am. Oh my God, death.
That's the thing. I haven't told anyone this, but she's actually going to say it. She's actually going to say that.
Also, who invited her? Because clearly people don't seem like they know her.
I think Ben did.
That's weird, right? Like your husband's coworker that you maybe met once is invited.
That's not even her husband, it's her brother.
Oh shit, you're right.
The balloon popped, not the lady. You're ruining the cake pops.
So anyway, back to childbirth death rates.
Anyway, she's like stuffing her face. Are these vegan meatballs? So my mother died in childbirth. A lot of blood. These are good. Try the cherry.
Many people have died during childbirth. Let me just say, but it won't happen to you. Yeah.
No, you'll be fine. How many balloons are gonna pop at this? Oh, is this like she was foreshadowing. And she doesn't want one because she knows they taste bad.
Okay,
this is actually kind of
weird.
What?
Babies being served.
Yeah, that's a bit odd. Anyone that would find that appetizing that's a huge red flag.
This is reminding me, obviously in a much less intense way. Do you remember the movie Smile, when she goes to her sister's baby shower, or no, not the birthday party? That's what it was, and she accidentally gives a dead cat or something.
Yes.
And she's like, everyone's looking at her like she's crazy. This is essentially like, everyone's like, will that woman shut up? What is wrong with her? By the way, they're making a sequel of that.
I saw that, and I think that's one that we should go back and do a commentary on at some point.
I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean,
I did too. It was
budget and
it grew on me more after I watched it.
Yeah, I think when you watch it in context of like the film that was supposed to be just a straight to streaming movie, and they're like, hey, this has something.
And also one of the coolest marketing campaigns. You remember they were doing like baseball games?
That was so good.
The guy at the Oakland A's game. who probably would have rather been possessed by the Smile spirit than watch the A's.
You mean the 1% of the Oakland A's game?
Well, that's why it was good marketing. Just put him where
Yeah.
the camera gets on him.
It must have been really expensive for those days. Okay, so I'm going back to like that's clearly what is triggering this in her, right? Because like she's been a paramedic. Like why all of a sudden is this happening? Like she's clearly been in traumatic moments up till this moment. Like why now?
That's a great question. And we're not going to pick apart all the plot holes for this because we'd never talk about the movie, but you're right. She got bit by the spider. We get it. I get how she has all the powers, but like the second Peter Parker got bit, he basically started to develop the powers.
Right.
She is, like you said, 30, and I'm sure that there's been a lot of traumatic things that have happened in her life.
I mean, this is a daily occurrence with her, right? Like
it's got to be. So was it just like saying that she fell into the Hudson River and got trapped in a car? Like what?
It is a highly polluted river, right? You know.
That's true. The lead levels in there, very dangerous.
How often did you swim? Would you swim all the time when you lived up there?
In the Hudson River?
Yeah. Was that just normal?
2 to 3 times a day, probably.
And that never happened to you?
No, that happened to me a lot. I would get trapped in a car that fell off the Brooklyn Bridge.
Like, yeah. Like no, dude, you're not a
New
Yorker.
What are you asking right now? Yeah, getting a slice of pie. That's. Wait, Mike Epps is a paramedic too. Who's not a paramedic?
Yeah, he's about to die.
I'm Mike Epps, bitch. She's like, you can play a character.
Oh no. See, if Banner was on this right now, oh man,
whose fault was that? Whose fault was that?
You gotta pull over for your service vehicles, guys.
Banner is rolling over in his grave right now.
Yeah, R.I.P.
I don't want to blame her for this, but like she kind of knew, you know.
Yeah, she saw it coming. Also, who will provide paramedic care to the paramedic? You know, it's like
who polices?
How deep does this go?
There's got to be some system in place.
I really hope that truck driver has insurance, though.
O'Neill, I wonder if he's related to Shaq.
Oh, because he's black.
He's black? Shaq comes out, my brother.
I guess I just don't see color. This would be trippy because, like, how do you know what's ever real or it's not?
And like sometimes it's really important stuff that she sees, like this guy dying. Other times it's not. Like you're not gonna like that sausage meatball.
which you could argue that one is better, but worse does it have to?
Yeah, wasting calories.
Well, I love that she let that memory influence her decision to not
but
have
not
the baby
this
sausage.
One. Yeah,
but not this one.
Priorities.
She's like, look, I made my choice. I'll live with it.
That's actually a really good point. So she trusts the power and uses it to influence the hors d'oeuvre that she eats, but not when her friend is going to be T-boned and murdered by a cement truck.
I think it's a fair question for her. If like someone finds out that she has these powers, it's like, hey, what was with that? I want to hear her defend that move. Well, look, okay.
So the villains, maybe we'll understand it more in a second, but his motivation is just he doesn't want to get murdered.
Yeah, do we know his motivation from the beginning though? Like,
I mean, it just showed he wants to kill the 3 chicks because they end up killing him as spider people. I'll be honest, if his motivation is not wanting to get killed by them in 6 years, I can kind of get behind him wanting to kill them.
Again, I'm not trying to compare these movies, but you and I talked about on Morbius. I was like, I didn't blame the bad guy for feeling the way he did. Like, it was kind of weird that his best friend, like, found a cure and he's like, hey, man, you can help me survive. Oh, you're not going to? Well, now I'm mad.
Yeah. Her technology there was like, hey, you know how these masks don't really cover any of the important facial features on their face? Well, with a few clicks of a mouse, I guess it's 2003, but still, like, Sydney Sweeney's mask did effectively nothing.
I always love those in superhero movies. So do we even know like Sydney Sweeney's character is a spider person yet? Like, I mean, I'm still confused about this.
That's the thing about this movie. So none of the 3 girls or really Madam Web, Madam Web, I guess, sort of has powers right now, but none of the 3 girls have their spider powers in this movie. It's all this guy trying to kill them because in the future, when they get their spider powers, they kill him.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah. It's like dumping someone before they break up with you. You know, like you know that
Out of
it's coming.
Fuddruckers.
Yes. At least you got our milkshake first. I think we could say we kind of come out even on this one. As a production designer, setting a movie in like 2003 is really just more annoying than anything because it probably doesn't really service the plot too much. But all of the like minutia of things in the background, you have to be like, I'm sure there's a million things you miss where it's like that wasn't around in 2003.
Right. I want her walking around in the World Trade Center is like still up. Like, wait a second. That definitely wasn't around in 2003.
Or someone has like a Miami Heat 2008 champion shirt, like some one fucking extra, and you're like, God damn it.
I mean, this shit does. I don't know. Does IMDb still do that where they do movie mistakes, continuity mistakes? I love that.
But even like her remote control right here, like has to be. There's fucking weirdos out there that'll be like, excuse me, that
also
RCA remote.
Also, I don't think necessarily we had to have landlines. Like you had cordless phones back in 2003. I think we had at this point we had maybe one landline. Like with
what
like
were
with
we,
the cord.
sophomores, juniors?
2003, freshmen, sophomores, yeah.
I'm trying to think. I had a corded phone in my room, but that was like the only one that we had.
Did you have your own line?
No, definitely not. We didn't even have a separate line for the internet.
Yeah, neither did we. I just remember always arguing with my sister about getting off the phone so I can get on the internet.
See, that's the crazy part when like the technology was like you would talk on the phone, but you didn't have your own cell phone. But also the internet wasn't like nowadays like you have to be on it constantly. Basically, back then it was like, okay, what's your reason to get on the internet?
Yes.
Now it'd be like
I told
because
my friends I'd be on.
Yeah, and now it'd be like because I'm breathing. What do you mean? What's the reason to get on the internet?
Because I cannot functionally do my job.
Correct. I will start to have withdrawals if I don't check Reddit or my email every 14 seconds.
By the way, she just said to the TV, she's talking to herself, that you can't change anything. Again, I go back to the fact that she did not take that baby sausage.
That, if we're talking about like branch timelines from Avengers Endgame, that baby sausage is the impetus for all of the different like ways that Earth plays out.
So it's like the butterfly effect. What happens if she ends up having that?
This is, oh God. What is with animals just fucking coming into her house?
She's a Disney princess. They're gonna help dress her.
You feed them one fucking time. At least have a musical number.
By the way, I was in St. Martin last week. Suicidal pigeons, man.
Really?
Everywhere I was driving, these birds were trying to kill themselves in front of me. I was losing it. I was like, what are with these birds?
Were they well fed? Like that one right there was pretty fat. When I lived in New York, the pigeons were fucking obese at the parks. Because think about how many carbs they eat.
Breath. They're like, ugh.
Give me some bread.
He's the
Grand Central. Gorgeous.
Again, if this was happening to me, I would literally probably just not leave my bed. I'd be like, oh, the vision told me to keep staying in and sleeping.
Who would you have to justify that to? Like your boss? Listen, I would love to come in and do.
No one would love to come in more than me
and do these 4 sales calls. But I'll tell you this: I've seen the future. We don't close any of these deals, so I think we're wasting everyone's time if we take the calls today.
I love how they're dressing Sydney Sweeney.
She's hideous. She has glasses on.
Let's give her tall socks and a short skirt.
You know, it's 2003 if you buy your ticket from an actual attendant at Grand Central. I lived in New York for 3 years, never once talked to a human being who worked there.
It's funny when you look back at these kind of things, you're like, oh my God, we had to talk to an actual human being. Now it's like, can I make the reservation online? Oh no, it says call the restaurant. Ugh, definitely not doing that.
I had to schedule a dentist appointment today, and I'm not even kidding. One of the offices I looked at that took my insurance, you couldn't book the appointment online, so I literally just didn't do it. I went to a different.
It's just not going to do it. No.
I was like, no.
Make choice, like not going to dinner there. Then.
Yeah, I'm like, so you want me to call you up and speak to a human?
Who am I?
Looks like the New Haven line. The one I took. Oh, the sideways seats. I never had those.
Guess you went to New York a little too late. Missed it up, huh?
Because you lose half the seats.
Oh, here we go again.
This is like vision, right? When she gets a vision, this is what they go to, the like Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah.
I thought that was Mike Epps at first. I was like, didn't he just die a brutal death? Then I realized, no, Horns, it's a little racist just because
they just have him in as a black character in every scene, hoping no one would notice.
No one would. So she's seeing all the chicks getting basically like brutally murdered.
Oh, so this is how she discovers them. But these girls have no connection to each other whatsoever.
I don't believe so. But we don't exactly know how they end up getting their spider powers. Very ambitious, but I'm assuming that was like part of the sequel plans.
I mean, how much do you know how much this ended up making?
I don't. Let me look that up. I don't have many Horns fun facts for this because the fun facts are just that movie exists.
It is a fun fact.
You know, this power, the really annoying thing, it would ruin watching sports.
Anything. I'm like, spoilers, my God. Because you imagine watching Saw?
So it made 102 million. Like total. That's international and domestic.
That's awful.
Assuming it had
international and domestic, 102 million.
Yeah, and it had
that's like 5 people.
Budget between production and P&A between 80 and 100 million. And they always say
that's not including marketing.
Well, that is, but they usually say don't you need to make like 1.5 times just to break even?
Yeah.
Between like distribution and everything else.
Also,
but I was going to say, to your point earlier, I think part of the reason this made money, the money it did, was ironic. Like, it was so bad that it was actually getting, it almost got me to go out to theaters to see it just because I heard it was so. Did you consider it all, like you and the wife, like, let's go get drunk at dinner?
We did, actually. We absolutely did. We were making fun of this.
Oh, you did see it?
No, we were making fun of, like, the idea of going. Like, because everyone was talking about how it's so bad. But also, like, I feel like when these visions hit you, like, it would be confusing to know the order in these are happening in. And like when it's real and when it's not, right? Like, how do you know when you're actually living in the future and when you're seeing something else?
And then it would get annoying because that time she just had 3 different visions. Like, I would tell my brain, hey, can we just do it like in one? Get up, you're gonna die. Excuse me.
I mean, but again, you were in New York. How often did this happen to you all the time? Someone on the subway like, oh, you're gonna die.
Usually on the way to work, not so much coming back.
Was this girl 5 years old? My mom told me never talk to strangers.
If someone said to you, get up, you're gonna die, he doesn't have shoes on. That's probably the biggest red flag of anything we've seen.
There he is. Okay.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Also, what's his plan? Like, does he have superpowers?
Outside of, like, I feel like whatever poison people? He does have some strength, I think.
Yeah, but what's his move in terms of like killing everyone? You know, on that train. Like, he, people are gonna see. Like, what's his ability to escape?
I think maybe if he doesn't have any powers, he's like, I need to kill these bitches before they get powers. Okay, I guess he's just Spider-Man.
Spider guy. Okay. No one's claimed that yet.
I do like his suit. It sucks that it's a complete ripoff, obviously, of Spider-Man.
But in his defense, Spider-Man doesn't exist yet. So really, that's
Well, it depends. You know? Wow. Maybe in this universe there are Spider-Man comics. We don't even know.
Shit. How deep does this go again?
That's why I hope that eventually gets revealed what the post-credit scene was.
It has to be unbelievably bad, though, to me. Like, because, like you're saying, Marissa Tomei, like, that would be fun. Like,
yeah, and that would actually kind of approved. I think I had heard that several like other like people either involved with the comics or over at Marvel said like this doesn't make any sense though. Like it wasn't even necessarily that it was something like cool. They were like it doesn't make sense in your universe.
It's not even like related to Madam Web
Yeah.
or Spider-Man or
I
anything.
don't. Yeah. Who knows?
It's a Family Guy skit. You're like, what? And these girls are awfully trustworthy.
That's why I think one of my favorite, like Deadpool. This is why the Deadpool movie I'm so excited for it, like him coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But there's a line in Deadpool, the first one actually, where Colossus is taking Deadpool like from the bridge back to the X Mansion, and he goes, "I'm gonna bring you to Professor Xavier." And Ryan Reynolds goes, "Which one, McAvoy or Stewart? Because I can't keep track of these timelines."
Yeah, I think Marvel needs that meta-ness right now. So okay, so he is okay. Yeah, now I need more lore on who. Yeah, so he is essentially a Spider-Man.
And I guess he kind of has Madam Web's powers too, because he could see his own death.
Yeah, but couldn't see that this woman was gonna fuck shit up.
You know what I would do? Like, fuck all this. Just
Sydney
sports
Sweeney? Oh.
sports gamble. She's
Yeah, go to Vegas, dude.
yeah, the be Biff from Back to the Future too. That's what I would do.
But you have to play it like you lose every like 8th and 9th one.
Oh no! Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't have Vegas will stop you from betting.
DraftKings will be like, hold up, bro.
Man, even Sydney Sweeney's deliveries are awful.
Yeah, no,
How is
she's
that
not.
even possible?
Sydney Sweeney is improving as an actor, but I don't think anyone would say like right now her chops are at their peak. But with this dialogue, I just don't know what you do. And
No,
I would
she plays well when she's playing like a teenager. Like she did great in Euphoria, obviously.
I liked her in White Lotus a lot.
That's what I was gonna say. When she plays a character not far removed from what she is in real life.
I've heard that movie Immaculate is really good too. The A24.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Well, yeah, the wife and I watched Anyone But You recently.
Well, didn't someone on the plane you were on watch the sex scene?
Oh my god, dude!
That was I told Shakira Hayek that, and she was fucking dying laughing.
I really wish I was recording it. I just watched her like because it was a touch.
Was she next to you or like in front?
No,
of you?
she was like 2 rows in front. So I was on the aisle on the right side. She was on the aisle on the left side, like 3 rows in front. So I had a perfect view of what she was watching. And she literally rewound that thing, and I was like, "Oh my god,
fuck is wrong with people?"
I was like, "You do realize people can see what you're watching? Like, good for you. I mean, I'm not against that,
but not on a plane. Like, come on."
Yeah, I feel awkward when I watch anything on a plane that has anything like awkward or like someone could see me watching this.
Did you like Anyone But You?
It was fine.
It's based on a Shakespeare play, which I didn't know, right? I don't know which one.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me that I know that. Yeah, Robin Sparkles didn't like it. I thought it was fine. I thought it was funny at some parts. I mean, it's a rom-com to a T. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't do anything extra. Didn't do anything different. It was just a rom-com. I mean, everyone saw the ending coming by a mile away, right? Like,
well, I haven't seen it, but you kind of.
Oh, you haven't seen it.
Are you having to force feed Glenn Powell because when Twisters comes out, you're going to have to jump on the train?
I mean, he could get it too. That's for sure.
For sure. I liked him in Top Gun.
And he is actually pretty funny in the movie too. Like, I mean, like I said, any problem with Anyone But You is the rom-com itself. There's nothing in it that you're watching that you didn't expect to get. Right.
I was honestly shocked that it got a theatrical release because that seems like just the genre seems like perfect for streaming. That's where they
very much felt like if you watch it, it very much feels like it should have come straight on Netflix. I like that these girls are just okay with what's happening. By the way, like
they're down with it now. Yeah, they're not.
Those girls are New Yorkers. They'd be like, "Fuck you, lady. I don't care."
It's like we're not tipping you because you're not really a cab driver. This guy's hair is getting grayer as the movie goes on. That's cyclically how we know he's getting older.
That's true. But again, I love that for 33 years.
She's the girl in the chair who's the only person in the movie with technology that's 10 years in the future.
This kind of this fire.
We're on the run, so the only place to hide is in the middle of the woods.
Which there's a lot of in New York, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks like Queens.
No one around for miles.
She's like, I don't know anything except I also know everything.
Again, these girls are way too trusting. Just trust me and don't worry about anything.
Okay. No.
There's only one pandemic in the city, by the way. You're a paramedic? You saved my grandmother. Oh. Yeah, that was definitely just me. So she does have a connection to these women. I feel like I'm watching the first episode of Power Rangers when all these teenagers are meeting each other. And we're all different, but we're all gonna fight for the
But
same cause.
none of them have the attitude that the Power Rangers have. Although they do have
That's true.
Like Isabella Merced could definitely be the Yellow Ranger because she's got a lot of yellow on.
Yeah, we got the colors. I mean, these deliveries are bad. I'm just gonna be honest.
That's what I would do too, though. I would throw a rock or something at her.
Didn't Sydney Sweeney say something to the fact that like about this movie, how bad it was, and she was like, I don't know, they paid me to be in it, so
yeah,
I enjoyed it.
And I think on pod I've said that I didn't really like her throwing it under the bus.
Yeah,
because you say this after the fact when it doesn't do well.
Yeah, but they don't know that you saved their lives.
You didn't really save their life. The thing didn't happen yet that was going to kill them.
Yeah. And again, these girls are very susceptible. They're already believing her. They got in a taxi with her and drove off into the woods. If one of them ended up killed, they'd been like, yeah, it's kind of on us.
If Madam Web was a guy, this would be much more problematic.
It would work in the early 2000s. It would not work today.
Also, I feel bad for the taxi driver. She just fucking co-opted his vehicle.
Yeah, that's his livelihood.
You know, his manager is all up on his ass right now.
Yep. Where's the car? Why'd you lose the car?
You know, there's a spin-off horror movie here if she leaves them in the woods and she goes back to the city.
This should be her thing. Where she just kidnaps people, tells them she saved their life, and then just leaves them in the woods.
Oh yeah, I just left those kids in the middle of the forest. It's a reality.
Can we trust you? Yeah. What would a person who took you to the woods say?
Right. What have I done that would make me seem untrustworthy at this point? Name one thing.
Also, those girls were all headed somewhere, you know?
Isabella Merced's like, well, I'm about to get evicted anyway, so I can hang out.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't want to go to work today. This is way better.
It's like the kid who's grounded. When he knows when he gets home, he's grounded. So it's like, no, I'll just stay out. Avoid the grounding.
Oh, they're talking about how hard they had it as teenagers. So I feel like Sydney Sweeney's character is hiding something.
However she's being directed, it's definitely making her seem very awkward.
Neurotic or odd or something's going on. I want one of these girls to actually be bad. I doubt it happens, but it would be fun for there to be a twist. Oh, there's Isabella Merced poster just for reference of the timing.
Isabella Merced to me seems like the one who would most enjoy killing someone.
I'd watch that.
That was convenient that thing was just on the ground to rip off your license plate. I wonder where she's going here.
Yeah, does she what's her plan other than seeing things randomly? She doesn't have a contact, right? It's not like she. Where is she even going?
I do love in movies when it's just like, is this her own apartment? What did
Oh,
she
the
break in?
cats.
She broke into her own apartment.
I
And
always love when they look behind, like to make sure no one's looking. But what if someone is looking? That makes you look way more suspicious. Be natural.
How I Met Your Mother, where Marshall's like, I don't know how to act. Laughter.
What do I do with my hands? Spider people. Here we go.
What's the book say? Huh, her mom was killed researching spiders in the Amazon.
Do you think that could be related?
It's too early to tell. Oh, so my power backstory has been in this trunk under my bed my whole life.
And again, I hope no one saw me coming into my own apartment. Otherwise, they'll be suspicious.
It's also, I mean, maybe she just didn't have her keys, but she had to break into her own apartment.
You're being too nice. You're really trying to cover. Like, no, this movie wouldn't be that dumb. Oh, here we go.
She's gonna try and climb.
Like a... I always love these scenes in the first iterations of superhero movies.
Yeah, like learning your power set.
Yeah. Tobey Maguire's was great.
Yeah, where it's basically like the analogy for like puberty and masturbation.
Yeah. What does he do that? He's like, it won't come.
They could glimpse into the future, except just like in Angels in the Outfield, it doesn't work in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's just not, that would be cheating, you know?
We have to have some limits.
I love that. Like, yeah, you ever think about that?
Oh my God, that's a photo that someone took of the guy who murdered my mom.
Oh, what if it said that guy who tried to murder me?
Guy who I super trusted.
Why would you take the time to write that? And she writes like as she's dying, like, wait, why would you write that? Oh, poor little girl. She's clearly young. She wears a short skirt and has a teddy bear, guys.
I'm getting like uncomfortable with some of like the fetishization of.
Yeah, it's a little much, to be honest. Like,
we're doing Sudoku. So they're just waiting doing Sudokus.
She's probably the most highly sexualized person in the world right now, and we're gonna make her act like a little baby teenager. The wrong people are loving that.
Like the fucking neckbeards out there are
oh my God.
eating this up. I do like her shirt. I eat math for breakfast.
I don't even know what that means. Maybe it's like maybe there's a math cereal, you know? Ones and zeros.
It's math numbers and then like marshmallows.
I would eat that.
Sydney Sweeney's character. I bet you have your own room. She's not 8.
Well, it's New York though. Does anyone have their own room?
That's true. Were Sudokus around in 2003?
I don't know.
I don't think so. That's the biggest plot.
They were ahead of their time. Let's see. I'm sure. I mean, maybe Sudoku is one of those like ancient things. I'm honestly trying to remember when I think I was in. I remember I was a senior in college working at the political science department making survey phone calls when I discovered Sudoku.
Wow, that's a memory you have locked down.
Yeah, that's because it was the only way to kill time when you're making phone calls all day. Okay, look at this. It first appeared in a U.S. newspaper, bro, in 2004.
Knew it.
Bruh,
bullshit, man.
What a call by Horns, my
It
God.
became night immediately. I love it. Like they waited in the woods for 3 hours, and now they're like, "Okay, now let's leave." And now they're like, "Let's hurry!" Like you.
And we definitely know where we're going.
Yeah.
And who set the fire, by the way? Wait, this diner was here the whole time?
Now there's a set piece in here that was from all the trailers where the guy comes and attacks them. Yeah, this is a
Where
bit weird.
are they?
I would be so suspicious just based on all of my movie experiences of any restaurant that just is like an oasis in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere. And it's a diner. It has to be a diner. Oh, there's a guy in a trucker hat up to no good just staring at them.
What's a minority doing out here? We're in New York.
We lost. Kind of, I guess.
Yes. Damn, that food looks good.
Did they? Oh, okay, I was gonna say for some reason I just didn't realize there was any transition there. I was like, did that waitress just give them food?
I guessed.
It's like when you're watching a movie and someone orders a beer without specifying, and then the conversation at the bar ends and they all leave. I'm like, one, you didn't have a sip. Two, no one paid for that beer.
Correct. Three, you just asked for beer and they brought you one out?
Yeah,
Be an
I'm gonna
IPA.
go to a bar and just say a beer, and they'll be like, which one? There's if you ever go back and watch A Few Good Men, like Tom Cruise literally walks in, orders a beer, she puts the beer down, he doesn't have a sip, he talks shit, and then leaves to Kevin Bacon and leaves.
So
I'm like,
annoying.
bro, you ordered a beer. What are you doing?
So Sydney Sweeney, of course, has never talked to boys before.
Oh, Puka Shell, I like that. Now that's a good callback. Ooh,
Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, again, we have to sexualize her because we have to.
Yeah, she's not doing that on her own.
So the paper says they were abducted. So what's this guy doing? Like, they're here with just them.
Maybe he doesn't know if they're kidnappers with them. I don't know.
Churchill, New Jersey.
Who has a better setup, this girl or in Dark Knight? Alfred. Not Alfred.
Alfred's-
No. Not Alfred.
Lucius.
Lucius.
Lucius has more screens.
That's true.
Lucius's looks like Bellagio Sportsbook. I can get any game.
But he's not corrupt though. He's like, I'll only do this tonight. But
Yeah.
after this, I resign.
But after this, no more parlays.
It's like I have standards.
I told you to wait in the woods for 6 hours.
I would be like, if I was one of those bratty teenage girls, I'd be like, guess you didn't see that coming. Oh, you could see the future, but you didn't see us leaving.
Yeah, just based on like human behavior, no one's gonna fucking wait around that long.
Where could they have gone? Oh, follow the
Fucking litterers.
They had to
She's
have
like,
gone this way.
I saw the future and your littering destroyed the earth, so congrats. I just won Doritos bag. Yeah, was the straw that broke the camel's back from Mother Nature.
Again, where the fuck are they?
Toxic by Britney Spears is playing, according to my subtitles. That's awesome. I don't think the diner would appreciate this.
Yeah, does the diner turn into a nightclub?
Have you had their flapjacks? It's fucking party time once those things come
Are
out.
you a diner fan? Like, do you like
Yes.
diner food? Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. How about you?
Yeah. My wife, I don't mind it. My wife does not, so I haven't done diner food in a long time.
I mean, it's not something I get often, but
I do like seeing everyone's hash browns, you know.
mhm.
And sometimes I love.
Do they do the
sometimes
cakes?
really
Do they do like?
Oh
yeah.
yeah. But sometimes you're really disappointed with it. You're like, oh come on.
Spider-Man guy walks in. What'd that guy do?
What are these guys?
You
You're
ordered
wasting
French
your
toast
time.
instead of waffles. Did he kill her?
You tipped 10%.
See, this is just a future vision of hers.
See,
Yeah, you tipped 10%.
it's too many of
I
them.
ordered a water. The coffee's unlimited refills, but don't take advantage of us. Does he poison people through his hands?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe
This guy's power set I can't really get a grasp on.
But what we know right now is she doesn't have any powers other than seeing the future whenever the things for some reason wants to show her.
Right.
What? Also, why does she care about these people?
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe she just
I
doesn't
mean,
like. She doesn't like murders in
right?
general.
I'm not saying like murders, but also if you realize it's going to result in your death, I'd be like, I didn't even know
Yeah,
these
I'd be like,
girls.
maybe that's part of the natural order of things.
You live in New York, Just wait. I thought she was okay. No, so she hasn't even left that area. Never mind.
But she's not even up at the diner yet.
No.
Oh wow. Did they even litter the Doritos?
Wow. They're gonna make us feel a certain way, and they didn't even do that. Wasn't it her idea to not talk to anyone too?
This chicks?
Yeah. They go, let's go in there. We're only talking to the waitress to order food, and that's it.
Yeah. Unless we see a couple guys that look like they play junior varsity.
And
Then
Britney Spears Toxic comes
Toxic
on.
comes
Only
on. But
then.
unless that Molotov cocktail of situations takes place,
Which, let's be honest, it won't.
it won't happen. Oh my god, it's happening. Men are pigs, just grabbing at their ankle. Men only want one thing, and it's girls' ankles.
God. Tell that to guys in Saudi Arabia. My God. Yeah, like also, what diner would the waitresses at this diner have been working 16-hour shifts. They're tired of everyone's shit.
Yeah, they're like, you guys just ordered. We know you're gonna fucking tip $2 on that.
Yeah.
Like, get off the goddamn table.
I'm getting Final Destination vibes with this semi.
I was just about to say that with the log scene.
Yeah. I think that's the thing with our generation. No matter when we see the tractor trailer with vlogs, our head immediately goes there, whether it's in person or on TV.
Nice.
Ooh, they're gonna have to exchange insurance information.
That's okay. The diner can take out a PPP loan.
Yeah, where did everyone go?
Oh no, her skateboard broke. What? He can poison you, maybe like that.
Just keep running him over. I always love when they have a bad guy down, and instead of just finishing it, they're like, "This will be a good time to."
I would kill you, but it's the second act.
I can't.
I hope that the villain guy, his name starts with an E, Ezekiel, maybe. I hope he goes home and he looks in the mirror and says, you know what? If they're going to kill me, maybe I've done something to deserve it.
Yeah.
Let me pop open the hood and look at me, tweak things.
Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I still find these girls still don't like necessarily. Again, why is she acting like a mother?
She could also use her powers to manipulate them. Like, you get syphilis. Okay, that happens. And I actually don't know a way to prevent it at this point.
Unless she closed the little door to the back seat, like that does anything.
She was.
This isn't a limo where it's soundproof.
I was gonna give you the aux cord, but that ship has sailed.
God, back then, you know what it was? Remember where we had those cassette tapes that had the wire attached to it that went into our so you could play CDs through a cassette.
My car had just a one CD changer. I know you had the cassette thing, right? Or did you have like multiple?
Yeah. Well, I had both. I had the cassette and the CD.
So would we hook the cassette thing up to like your iPod?
No, I remember my dad's car had only the cassette.
But that could hook up to an iPod, right?
Yeah, it could. Yes, we would do that to the iPod. You're absolutely right.
Which was sick. You'd be like passing that thing around.
I remember that my first iPod, I had that black and red case. Took it to Europe with us.
Do you still have that?
Okay, no, that definitely did not make it much longer. By the way, I had a problem with this. I meant to make a comment on this earlier. So this movie is called Madam Web, right? Mm-hmm. Web being Web, W-E-B. But her name is Web with two B's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are we doing here? What
and that's
are we
why
doing?
I've been so confused because when I'll write, I know that the character's name is Webb with two B's. I've always known that, but the movie is not. And so when I would be like writing out like, is Madam Web, whenever we were like texting each other, I'm like, which one is it?
Wait, so is Madam Web a generic thing, and it's actually referring to all four of these women?
Possibly.
Like, what's Madam Web? Why wouldn't it be the two B's?
The character of Madam Web, who's played by Dakota Johnson, has 2 Bs. So maybe the web in the title, like you said, means like they're all in this web.
Right. And they're all females? I don't know. That's just weird. I actually meant that like earlier. I was like, isn't her name with 2 Bs?
Yeah. I guarantee you someone at Sony is like, no, we weren't actually thinking of that. We just fucking forgot to add that.
Or
shit.
it just costs too much in an extra character. They're like, we can't afford that. It's extra 10 cents.
My mom died when I was 5. Look, not to be a topper, but my mom died in the Amazon while researching spiders. I don't know if that's come up.
Does anyone know that about my mom, by the way?
I don't bring it up often. You got to really pry it out of me. So now that I'm opening up, I think we should really take advantage of this and dwell on it.
I would love to see her and Bruce Wayne talk about their parents.
So she can't go to the police because her mom died when she was 5? Got it.
Yeah, until I'm 18, I can't.
Yeah, someone's trying to murder me? Wait a second. Did your mom die when you were 5?
No, no way.
Well, then what are you doing reporting a crime? Sorry. Did they put her in the foster program? She's like 17.
That's why she's like, I just need to make it to 18.
All right, we're going to put you in a foster home for 8 minutes.
Again, these girls are, yes, I get they have a right to be suspicious by this random guy coming up in a black suit. But, like, I'd still feel like I'd be like, something else is going on. Because until you came into my life, everything was fine.
And, like, it's like a batting average. Like, I think, like, 25% of her premonitions have been true. Which, again, if you bat 300, you're in the Hall of Fame. But it's if we're going to, like, every time you tell us one, just change everything we're doing based on that premonition, you're not hitting that high a percentage.
And she's only been the most confident with that baby peanut. What was it? Baby sausage.
Did you say baby penis?
Yeah, but that they're inferring with it, which I
is
find
disgusting. That what it? But see, that's weird because you do that for like bachelorette parties, like the penises. You don't do that for baby showers.
That's clearly what they were doing.
In movies, they always go get ice. They always fucking need ice for what?
Okay, first of all, dude, come on. Don't tell me when you don't go to a hotel, first thing you do is go to the ice machine.
I know, get ice.
Yeah,
You're right.
It's ice time.
Ice to meet you.
What killed the dinosaurs?
She still has this stolen cab. This is fucking wild.
Also, why does she keep leaving these girls?
What bad is going to happen?
I want her to go back to her apartment and sneak in again.
Climb through like another exterior entrance.
Yeah. Good,
just walk through the front door.
And there's more random animals in there.
This may be a dumb question, but what would she be wanted for right now? I guess stealing the taxi cab?
Yeah, and maybe they think she abducted the women.
Okay, but when she like went back to her apartment, that was like right after it happened.
Yeah.
The quote unquote abduction.
But again, what's stopping them from calling the cops, clearing things up and being like, hey, and the girls will vouch, yeah, she didn't abduct us. She helped us save our life. She got us away. They don't even have to mention the weird caped person. Like, and then they have the cops watch them. Like,
now all this caution tape is actually up because those 3 chicks didn't pay their bill. So she was poisoned, just a little bit.
Yeah. I need to stop them from killing me, so I'm going to kill them.
They're not killers, they're just teenagers, right? Because those are always mutually exclusive.
Yeah, so I'm still confused on what he's built. What is he up to?
He just doesn't, again, we could do a in defense of villains. He just doesn't want to get murdered.
Yeah, which is, again, fair, but he's clearly up to something. Like, is he building something? Is he...
That's none of your fucking business, okay? He just told her his motivation. I don't want to get killed.
That's so much.
And she's saying the same. She's like, no, but you feel more evil than that. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I murdered your mom for really no reason, but you're gonna not be mad about that, are you?
Oh, he's like, oh, you're her.
Oh, you're the guy from the picture that I just looked at 10 minutes ago, and you look no different at all.
Does he work with like the Osborns? Like, is there some I mean,
that'd be cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is his motivation? Is he working in their lab? Like,
Yeah, how do you get so rich? Just because he can touch people and poison them?
Yeah, and how long has he been up? Again, right? Am I wrong? So like, if the movie started in 1977, this is in 2003, so we're literally talking 36 years. Like,
Yep.
what's he been up to?
Just chilling, man. Not aging. He does all his aging in the next 5 years.
Are all three girls sleeping in one bed? Like,
Yeah, there's two beds, so obviously the natural way to divide it is 3 in one bed, 1 in the other. Hang on.
well, of course.
The math here doesn't quite add up.
No, it's like, when you're at a bachelorette party or bachelor party, it's like, hey, the groom gets the bed to himself.
Yeah. Hey, the clairvoyant gets her own bed, okay? Anyone else is welcome to this bed. If you're getting premonitions of the future, raise your hand and you're welcome to snuggle it.
She was,
so it's just me.
And she wasn't even sleeping. She went on a road trip.
In her mind.
Oh, so she didn't actually go on that road trip. And then
Correct.
I thought the mind thing was real, but she was still physically in the cafe.
I don't think so. Costume designer for this movie, really easy. It's like, so the girls just wear the same fucking shirt the whole time. Yeah, the whole time they'll just have the same shirt on. So just one outfit. Yeah, just one outfit. That's all we need, really. And make the one
CPR.
Yeah, just in case. Then after this, she's going to go over how to file your taxes. Why is she?
Here's a trick to remember how to CPR. First, I was afraid. I was
petrified. So this is obviously going to come into play somehow in the third act. One of them's going to have to do CPR.
I really hope it doesn't, actually. I hope we get like a 5-minute scene of them learning CPR and it never comes to fruition.
Why was that? Who edited this?
Yeah, you walk out of the theater. Hey, remember when they learned CPR? That was weird, right?
So I feel like we could trim a few minutes. We cut the CPR scene. That's essential. Don't you fucking touch that. That has bubble wrap.
It would be like real life, though. Like sometimes you learn things that don't actually end up being needed.
Oh, sorry, Anya. He's dead.
Again, do these people not have like anyone looking at them? They can't text just to say, "Hey, police are looking for us. We're actually fine."
If we're dealing with landlines, I don't think texting is very viable.
Okay, but texting, this is a good question. I remember my very first text message was around this time. I was at TCBY.
You're lucky.
It was from our friend Elizabeth, fellow TU fan. Yeah.
So listen, girls, I know it's been about 11 minutes since I talked about my mom who was killed in the Amazon while she was researching spiders. So I want to bring the photo back out just in case anyone here had forgotten.
Shit, my wife and I might be going to Peru at some point this year. I don't know if I can do this now after watching this.
Yeah, I mean, and you're going to research spiders, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, and hopefully I'll be pregnant.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Actually, Peru doesn't even let you in unless you're pregnant. Researching.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that.
When you go through passport visa,
it's hurt tourism a lot.
Yeah. And what spider will you be researching? Oh shit! Oh yeah, you can't come in. Sorry.
And where is your South American research assistant with nefarious ulterior motives?
Oh, you don't have one? I'm sorry.
Okay, the back of the line is that way.
It's so awkward that I get why did they need Uncle Ben? Did he need to be Uncle Ben? Is what I'm saying.
I mean, this has to be so Spider-Man adjacent that it needs an Uncle Ben.
But why not like create a love interest for her?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, does the movie change functionally? Like, does it change what the box of it? Does it change what it's trying to do? That like it's still related to Spider-Man clearly, whether Uncle Ben is in this or not.
I think she just needed someone to be like her emotional anchor, like her.
Right? Why couldn't it be a love interest? Why does it need to be Uncle Ben?
I don't know. I kind of like that it's Uncle Ben.
Okay, I mean that's fair. Also, again, she just left them again.
Yeah, she's really good at abandoning teenagers. Is she flying this plane? Please be flying this plane. That'd be so funny.
Ooh, Republica de Peru.
Wait, so she's like, what does she need to go to Peru for?
She's always wanted to do the Inca Trail. It's been on her bucket list.
And you know what? Now seems like a good time for a vacation.
I got poisoned, and you know what? It's time to do me.
Sir, do you know where this spider is? That's a fucking like 4-year-old's drawing. What do you mean?
Like the Peruvian's like, no.
Someone has definitely peed on the inside of this bus. I can smell it.
Oh, easily.
And it wasn't
Yeah,
very long ago.
How did she find this place? Like, again, this would be a multi-day trip, by the way. Like, easily a multi-day trip to get remotely in this area of the Amazon rainforest in Peru, right? Like, at least 2 to 3 days immediately. She's clearly wanted, and she gets a plane ticket.
Yeah, she just leaves the
Post
country.
9/11 America.
I don't know what happens in this scene, but looking at the runtime, I can already tell you we could have cut it.
I still feel like we didn't need a CPR scene either. Like, if one of them saved someone with CPR, you know, we can just infer that they knew how to do CPR, right? Like,
yeah, or
if
just
I
don't
saw someone giving CPR, I'd be like, oh, they knew how to do
They know
it.
CPR, or just don't have them save anyone with CPR. I think we'll make it if they don't. Like, that doesn't have to happen. You know, it's 2003 because she has her like polo or her flannel tied around her waist. Yeah.
Also, is she still wearing? I mean, it is like Power Rangers. She's always wearing something with red on it.
Yeah, that's true. So I got to find this spider quick so I can go post about it on my Zanga page.
You know how impossible it is, like, to have a photo of a forest and then find the exact point?
This guy's gotten his life together. Yeah, I went to ITT Tech and really turned things around.
I promised your mother I would be here.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
Oh my God. I recognize you. I was like a day old when you met me.
You're the first white person to return in 36 years. You have to be her.
Are you here to build a McDonald's? Actually, yes.
Thank God. I am so sick of eating bugs.
Yeah, let me just give you the whole backstory.
Now we're going to get a little more exposition. All right. I think this was the set of the Aggro Crag.
Dude, right? Is where my mom died while researching spiders in the Amazon? Yes, no, that's where we are, so we understand.
I don't understand why I risked my life to come here. You literally just made the choice.
She's like, I know I can trust you, Peruvian Luke Wilson.
What a weird jump in this movie. All of a sudden now she's with just like some guy in the Amazon that like explaining everything. Oh, you're Thread because they're spiders. I get it.
He looks like Los Luke Wilson.
Yeah, he does.
Are they gonna kiss?
Oh.
Doctor Strange did it better.
I was hoping they would. We haven't gotten a good awkward sex scene. That's what the mid 2000s were about.
Yeah.
Oh, now she gets a witness.
Yeah, who doesn't want to see their parent in labor with them?
This is like the most important scene in the movie right here.
She brings the spider back and they're like taking selfies together and then just starts murdering everyone in cold blood. That was going to be a really good photographic moment, Ezekiel, and you had to ruin it with all the murder. Just a little bit of murder.
This is emotional.
Yeah, this is heartfelt. And then these guys come just flying in.
I'm still, a little confused on who the Los Aranos is. Like this makes me realize
that's the spider, I think.
Yeah. Well, again, it makes me think of like Spider-Man. Like, so like Spider-Man wasn't alone. Like, were these people never watching New York in the next few years, being like, hey, that guy seems like he has powers like we do?
I'm more confused. These guys went from like indigenous, like tribesmen in the woods jumping from tree to tree to now this guy has like a small business and teaches like at the community college on the weekends.
Well, also he's an OBGYN, able to deliver babies.
When she said your baby has Mayans or whatever, I thought it just said asthma. I was like, I mean, that's okay. First of all, how would you know that? It hasn't been
I'd be like, no.
Second off, we'll get through it.
Nope. We'll try again. This baby's not going to make it.
Ugh, doctors hate when you're like, I'm a doctor too, by the way. Like, well, then why the fuck did you come into my office if you know everything?
Yeah, see, this is my mom. She's like, hey, you should be traveling in your third trimester.
Yeah, I kind of get Dakota Johnson's like, so why the fuck did my mom risk my life to come down here? I know she got murdered giving birth to you, but like not a great parenting decision early on.
So also, why can she see now? Now she's able to see the past and the future.
You know, it'd be really crazy if she could see the present.
Oh my god, that would need at least.
I want a
movies.
superhero whose powers are like I can see the present. So like what we're in right now.
You won't believe me, but I can see what's happening right
Holy
now.
fuck. What a burden that must be.
Don't go crazy. Don't run out of the room when I tell you the truth.
Okay.
I see and hear you. Yeah, so is the mom seeing her right now? Like,
now, see, it kind of sucks because, like, in theory, this could have been a really emotional scene, and I give Dakota Johnson credit; she's hustling out here. It's just like everything you've told me, and even your own opinion of her is, I should hate your mom for making some poor choices.
Yeah, and again, like I mean, it's clearly not, but it feels so low budget. It feels straight to TV, straight to streaming. Like, even worse than Morbius, I feel like.
This guy, like, what was that, like 2 hours? You just had to chill on this rock.
It's like it's been what's the gift from Titanic? It's been
84 years.
Yeah. Also, what I mean, it's got to be hot in the Amazon, bro. Like you're wearing jeans. Come on.
I mean, he's gonna sweat off all the winter weight. Also, in the comics and the Spider-Man video game, which is mainly what I know Madam Web from, she is blind. So I'm assuming she will go blind. Maybe not in this movie, but maybe they'll tease it.
I mean, blind in the sense like physically, but she still sees. Like her power is always seeing the future.
Yeah, so she like has like a blindfold over her eyes because I think her eyes got like burnt out or like destroyed or something. I don't know. But she can't physically see things.
I just can't imagine Sony, even if this was more successful, envision doing like a I mean, do they really envision making this a
also
2 or 3 movies deep? Like, I mean, come on.
To that point, Madam Web in the game is also like 80. She's like an old woman. She's a blind old
I know
woman.
you mentioned like, you only get her for like 28 episodes in the 20 comics. But like, do you get her original, or is this more original from the show? Like the movie took.
I mean, I think all this stuff is just like mentioned by her. Like her comic run is like she does a little bit of stuff with Blade. She does a little bit of stuff with the Scarlet Witch, and then she's like someone that Spider-Man like goes to for like advice on a few instances. Like in the Spider-Man video game, she like gives you like 2 of your missions. You show up, she's sitting in a chair, blind, old, tells you what to do. This guy is aging rapidly, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, 36 years, he looked perfect. Like it's, at some point it's going to catch up to you. But I guess I wonder what their motivation was then to make her relatively young. Then, like, why not make this movie 1993?
Yeah.
1985 or something like that. Like, right? Like, why, if the intent in the original comics is that she's much older than Spider-Man, they're making it seem like, like they're 18 years away from Spider-Man becoming, 16 years away from Spider-Man becoming Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, Spider-Man's about to be born, speaking of that.
Right. So it's like,
you probably peed yourself.
yeah, I guess I'm a little confused. I wonder why they made these choices.
Yeah, and them saying Richard's not here, like, okay, you just didn't want to cast his dad or Aunt May because he didn't want to make a decision on Aunt May, and we never met Uncle Ben in the MCU, so that could be the one that Tom Holland has. Tom Holland.
That's why it's weird. I'm like, yeah, they really feel like they cut a lot of corners here, but also at the same time didn't.
Making it in 2003. All right, so Avengers Endgame takes place in 2019, and Tom Holland's like a junior in high school. I mean, it kind of feels like they did 2003 just to set him up as the Spider-Man in this, right?
Right. That's 100% what it feels like. Also, why are these girls needing to go? Did he make a promise I'm staying with them? Like, keep them in the house.
You guys want to see a baby get born? Not real. All right, let's all load up in the car. I get the aux cord, obviously.
They're just trusting everything.
Why is he acting so suspicious? Like, what are they?
Stop staring at the cameras. My God.
Oh, they left the house. Got to do a murder. Also, I never wear shoes anywhere I go.
And I do appreciate a villain that like looks good.
Is he supposed to be aging, or am I just like reading too much into his at a rapid rate?
You know, I think you're a guy who likes salt and pepper look, and you're just finding him more handsome, and you're saying it's that.
You're not wrong, and the vest is definitely not
The
detracting.
vest he is pulling.
Hey
off.
Ben, I still have this stolen taxi cab.
And she's wearing red again. She is a fucking Red Ranger. Does she own anything else?
It was clearly a gift that like maybe from Ben, and she's like, I'm gonna wear it out. That way he's like knows that I appreciate the thing
Also,
he got.
How many people do you think was she's driving around New York in that stolen taxi that people keep waving her down and she's just like what the fuck? There's no one in that taxi, you piece of shit.
She doesn't know how to like turn off the light on the top that says that
Yeah,
she's like willing to pick you up.
They're like, that piece of shit didn't pick us up. There's no one in there.
Wow, I'm disgusted.
No, not an ambulance. No one could need an ambulance in New York. Oh my, did she just steal the fucking ambulance?
What won't she steal?
Wait, what the fuck, dude? That makes no fucking... So she's so obsessed with keeping these girls alive, she just literally is letting someone else die because she took an ambulance.
Hard choices had to be made.
What the fuck? Why would she steal an ambulance? She's a paramedic. She knows someone needs that.
Look, maybe I'll save a life on the way, and then that will justify me taking it.
Or how about she just gets in an actual taxi cab and say, take me to this hospital?
See, this visual looks cool. But the problem is, I don't know if is this a vision she's having, or is this actually something cool that's like really...
That's the problem with these premises. It honestly distracts. And it's almost like Deus Machina, like the God Machine type. It's like where it allows you to do whatever the fuck you want, and then you can make an excuse. And that's why it's really hard to do these kind of things well. Like outside of how awful the script has been or cinematography, like these type of concepts where someone's seeing the future, it's hard to deliver.
Yeah. There is an interesting...
What's the risk?
Yeah, there's an interesting movie in here somewhere, but I don't know if they really had an idea of how to put it at all into a screenplay.
I will say it's not as bad as I was anticipating. Now, that's also...
It's a rough start, yeah.
My point of view, I had the lowest of low expectations. So, like, literally, it can only go up from there. This is still pretty awful. The dialogue, again, the script and the film, the cinematography itself, like the directing is awful. And it almost feels like, in a way that, I mean, maybe this is kudos to maybe this is what they're going for. It feels like this is a film that took place in the mid-2000s.
Oh, and just like another thing, like what's really making the story like cumbersome. Do we need 3 of these girls? Like, what if there was just one of them?
Yeah, I do not see the point of any of this.
Because like
absolutely,
everyone being a spider person, it's like, really?
I just honestly thought, like, when I read the plot and the stars, I thought they were going to be spider people by this. So like this movie is not even that.
Yeah, all the spider people except for him are like just future versions of it. Also, again, it's kind of hard for me to like root. I know the villain is to say he's like a caricature and one-dimensional is an understatement, but his only motivation is not to get murdered.
Yeah, but But no, I mean, I agree 100%, but I still don't even understand what his overall, and that's either a flaw of the movie or I missed something. That, like, he clearly has a lab. He has a spider in the lab. Like, he's doing something. He told her, he's like, I'm building something. Like, what is he actually up to?
Yeah, I don't know if they reference it, or again, if a lot of this stuff is like, oh, we're going to build to future films.
And also, it's been 36 years. What has he been doing?
Well, he had to do his laundry.
Oh God, I do hate laundry. It's not the laundry; it's the folding.
It's the folding. I know.
God.
That's why it took 36 years. He just kept running it in the dryer. He would get out like socks when he needed them, or a shirt.
Oh, bro, that's a lifesaver when you don't want to iron. Just throw it in the dryer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wrinkle release for 10 hours. This could be a cool set piece right here. Shock the roof of the ambulance.
How does this
I
person
like
even know
that.
what they're doing?
That's
Yeah, that
actually
is
kind of
cool.
that's a cool idea. I
Would
like that.
that work? I mean, why not? I guess.
I don't know. Let's go outside and try
Yeah,
it.
let me get my ambulance.
Oh, now she says sorry after she stole a taxi for 2 days in an ambulance. Now you have remorse.
Watch the fucking road. My God.
Yeah, for real. Eyes up front.
I still can't believe she stole an ambulance. There was someone dying who needed that. Honestly, this movie's. I'm surprised. I can't wait to hear Banner's thoughts on this because we saw a scene where someone killed someone because they didn't pull over for an ambulance, and now she steals an ambulance.
Well,
Like there's no respecting
I was
of our service
texting him.
vehicles.
I was texting him today, and he said he got about an hour in, so I don't think he got to see any of
Oh,
this.
he didn't even finish. I thought
Yeah,
he did.
he said he had to go to sleep last night.
I mean, did he? I know Banner will stay up if he wants to. That means he was like, oh no, I have to go to bed.
That should be a Brosker.
God.
We should call the worst movie of the year. Where the movie's so bad that even Banner gave up.
He went to- when you see his top 100, you'll know what we're talking about.
All right, so she just saw basically the end of the like third act action set piece. How do you think she dates? Like she'll go out with the guy, she's like, oh, he's gonna cheat on me with one of my friends. I already know.
It's like
The guy's like, what are you talking about? No, I won't.
But it is funny because it's one of those things. I mean, that's obviously for the comedic effect, but like these things are fun to think about mentally because like at what point are you fulfilling your own prophecy?
Yeah.
If you see the future and do nothing.
Well, and if you know what the future is, even subconsciously, would you do something to affect it? Or is you knowing that? Well, is you knowing the future part of like that future happening?
Right, exactly. And so, like again, that's why. Again, I kind of referenced this earlier with these kind of concepts, and this is why time travel is so difficult too. Some movies and TV shows and books do so well at time travel, and some just collapse because it is. It's a fine line and it breaks down really quickly if you don't cover your tracks.
What was the line Bruce Banner has in Avengers Endgame? He goes, it's time travel. It's either all a joke or none of it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Scott Lang goes, so Back to the Future is a bunch of bullshit?
You took that one personally, I'm sure.
I was very offended by that.
Like Harry Potter has a little bit of time travel in the third book, and they play it I pretty well because there was very strict rules about like you cannot influence, like it's like wizarding law. Like you can witness things in the past, but you can't influence it. But it's not time travel forward. Right? So you're like seeing things in the back. So
well, but it's like the when the Ancient One tells Bruce about like the branches of reality, like if they go back in time and take an Infinity Stone, it says like it branches that reality somewhere else.
Right, exactly.
So that's why he's like
infinite realities.
Yeah, he's like, we'll come back and give you the stone at this exact time, so none of that will have ever happened. So they of course have flares, and now they're in an explosive factory. That's a cool
fireworks
visual.
Factory.
It's a cool visual.
And again, New York is full of firework factories, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. On the east side.
By the way, this guy is getting beaten the fuck up throughout the movie. I will say
he
can hit by 2 cars.
He can take a punch. I do like the use of slow motion here.
Actually, 3 cars he's been hit by, right? I really am going to go back after this and maybe as again a commentary on this movie is I am very confused outside of his. I know his obvious motivations for surviving, but like what is he again up to?
Yeah.
Other than is he just up to he found a spider that gave him superpowers and he's just the Spider-Man before Spider-Man and he's an evil Spider-Man or not a necessarily good Spider-Man.
Yeah, and maybe that's on me. Maybe I missed. But I don't think I did because there's so much exposition in this movie. I feel like they would have explicitly told us his motivation at some point.
And you're being very kind. I feel like you're very nice to this movie. You are a giver.
It's done nothing to offend me.
How are you? I told you it's not as bad as I anticipated. How are you feeling about it?
No, I mean it had a really rough start. The dialogue in the first 20 minutes was pretty brutal, and the characters were very wooden. But it's settled in a little bit. And I will say this, like this to me is just kind of a bad superhero movie at this point, with like a character that's tough to adapt. I don't even think it's the worst superhero movie I've seen in like the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think that's the difficult part. Is it the worst superhero movie I've ever seen? No, but it's about a superhero I just don't give a shit about.
Right. I do like this third act is pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's the difference. Like if you put actual Spider-Man on this or Batman or whatever, it's like, okay, like we've all watched bad Batman movies. We've watched some bad Spider-Man movies. It's like you can handle it. I'm like, I don't even know my draw to this character.
Yeah, and one thing also that makes it tough is none of them like physically are a threat to the villain. Like, so no one can fight.
Not
them.
even, yeah.
They're just running the whole time.
These teenage girl, and her superpower is seeing the future, which is a great superpower. I'm not
right, but at times it actually gets annoying because it's like you said, like the false narrator where it's like,
yeah, is right now happening live. I have absolutely no idea.
You know what helps when I'm being choked? If you yell my name.
See, and then you stop choking.
Yeah, so if I'm being like strangled by someone, if you just yell Jeff, the guy will stop strangling me.
He's like, oh shit, now you have a name, you're humanized. I can't kill you now. You have a family. You have people who love you.
You know what they probably should have done, if we're being honest, is make Madam Web like actually her mom. And just have the whole movie pretty much be like in the Amazon, like the dude like stealing the spider. He could be like fucking killing people in Peru. No one knows who it is. That's the movie.
I think that's what I'm saying. I do agree with that. I think there's a movie here. That's why it felt like, again, with Morbius is like, are they trying to make it gimmicky? Because I don't think, especially with how Marvel's been able to pull things off, there is something.
Let's be clear. This is not Marvel.
Right. Well, I'm talking about Marvel overall.
Oh, right.
Has been able to pull off stories, whereas Sony's coming in. That's why I'm saying, like, with between a couple of these like Spider-Man spinoffs, like, look how this is being filmed right now. It feels like
this is this went from like, for me, probably like a 5 out of 10 to now we're dipping into the 4s.
But yeah, like to your point about doing like a whole thing in the Amazon or something like that. It's like if Marvel got to influence this properly. There's something here.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Is Sony's just oblivious? Are they in on the joke? Are they doing it gimmicky? Like what? That's what I'm asking.
The reason Madam Web is not like really she doesn't like headline her own comics is because like her power of premonition, like what do you do on your own with that? Like Peter will come to her and she'll be like, I can only tell you certain things about what happens to you, Peter, and then he'll go off on his cool mission. When Peter leaves Madam Web's lair in the comics, and again, she has to be blind at some point in this movie, I would think, but you're not like, dude, I wonder what the fuck Madam Web is gonna do after Peter left. Like, you don't like. She's a non-playable character. She's an NPC.
And again, this villain is extremely pathetic. Let's be honest. He is fighting 3 teenage girls who can't do anything, and a woman whose power is, again, seeing the future. Which, again, I'm not invalidating that, but like, I don't understand his overall purpose. I get his motivation, but not his purpose. And 2, he's really pathetic. Like,
yeah, he should be beating the shit from him. None of these people have like any physical prowess to match up.
Like when you think of the best superhero movies we do, it's always actually based on the villain. Like when we think of our favorite superhero movies, it's villains who like instill this like sense of dread, of fear, of like collapse of society, of all these things, right? Like whether it's Marvel or DC. And he's given me nothing other than looking good in a vest.
I do like his suit. Probably because it looks like the symbiote Spider-Man suit. So she's not going to get blinded. We're really going to do that?
I mean, maybe. There's still a chance one of those sparks could fall in her eyes, dude.
My God. Imagine if that's how they do it.
Another Pepsi.
The next day, there's like an eclipse and she forgets to bring out her
she
glasses.
Doesn't look at me.
She's like, fuck. I just want to see it so badly. Like, will this blind her? I don't think so. Is there chlorine in this lake?
I mean, every time she falls in water, something drastic happens.
Is she like unable?
Falls
Why?
dramatically like that?
Like why can't she swim up? Did something? Oh, did that hit her in the face?
Oh,
Wow.
in the
Oh, blind
face.
now, bitch. That's insult to injury. Like we could have done this outside of the water.
Also, she has no scarring on her eyes or anything.
I was gonna say maybe that didn't blind her. Right? Her eyes look fine.
I mean, I feel like they showed that. Like, I feel like that had to have been what did it, right? Like that was too. But you're absolutely right. We didn't need 3. I mean, unless that's something in the comics. What is the point?
Again, I don't know any of the girl characters. They might be. There's a lot of Spider-Verse characters. Maybe they just wanted to cast 3 tweens.
Oh, here's the CPR, bro. You got what you wanted.
I don't think she's blind. I'm not a Madam Web head, but like that would be the one thing that'd be like, oh, it'd be cool. Oh, maybe
You're
is.
like, because that's her thing, right? Like that's like the one thing.
Yeah, she sees with her mind and not her eyes. No, she looks blind. I think she's blind. Good job, Sony.
But again, no scarring.
They read the comics. There's little scars like around.
We'll do one thing.
You think a guy came in like at the very end of the day? He's like, hey, just so you guys know, I know we still have to do the 3rd act. She is blind in the comics. Maybe we could do something.
FYI.
Pun intended, because of the eyes.
I mean, there. All right.
Oh, that's Peter.
There he is. How much do you think he got paid for that?
Does that look like Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield?
Guys, I'm going to be honest. I feel it's Tobey Maguire. It makes no fucking sense. He's Spider-Man from a year before.
Man, Richard is going to be in so much trouble out of town when his son is born. Oh, so she is blind. Okay, good job, Sony.
No, it's one of those eye massaging masks.
They come in, she has like cucumbers over her eyes. Why are you so comfortable? We were just in a traumatic event.
Ben's loving being an uncle. The baby was just born. What has he had to do? This is great. I fucking love it.
He said something about now.
Literally been in the hospital.
He loves being an uncle because with great power comes great response. Something like that. I wasn't really paying attention.
Good. I like this hospital really testing for, really asking the hard questions. Are these all your family? Yep. Okay. They all don't look alike, but okay.
You've been through enough tonight, and you didn't even ask for extra Jell-O, so we're just gonna let you have. Yes.
But she did. She just didn't see it.
That was a weird fade out.
Yeah. So where do we go from? Again, very simple.
She's paralyzed now too.
Or she's just in a wheelchair.
That's a rough Friday night.
Why is she okay? Is she paralyzed? I'm confused.
I don't remember being paralyzed in the comics, but I guess she is kind of always in a chair when Peter comes and talks to her. But she's normally hanging upside down with her blindness being on display.
She obviously is taking this all in stride. She doesn't seem that bothered by any of it.
They haven't even opened that takeout food yet, and it looks delicious.
Yeah, that's me. That's what I do. No, I always, whenever I get takeout, I immediately if it's an egg roll, a samosa, what I grab the first thing right there. I'm like, yep, more Pepsi. My God,
Jesus, it's disgusting. It's gross, really. Put a little duck sauce on that.
Kill some
See, Madam Web's blind, so you can eat her egg roll and she won't know. Oh, they only brought us 3. Again, coolest part of their characters is shit that hasn't even happened yet.
So I just don't know how this fits in the lore with these girls in the Spider-Man. How can we ignore? I don't know. This is adding more questions.
Yeah, now they're superhero crime fighters. We just never get to see it. Again, the ambition of this movie.
Right. And again, how does this fall in love with Peter Parker? Because if Peter Parker knew about it.
Madam Web is the guy in the chair. So in theory, I guess if they became spider heroes, she would be the one working from their home base or whatever.
Right, but what I'm saying is if they become spider heroes, then why is it such a shock when Spider-Man is the original? At least the way they've made it in the story is
not in this universe, bruh.
Yeah, I guess not. Not in this universe. Oh, now we have a narrator
God,
now.
the costuming here is CW level.
Like, yeah, this feels awful. What is this?
Really? She's gonna look like that? Oh my god.
Yeah, it just not the worst thing I've ever seen, but my god, does that just feel like a
But
made-for-TV
definitely
movie.
not like this movie cannot be like laughing at Morbius's.
I don't know which one's worse. This is tough.
I didn't hate the second act. Like once they get out of the woods, it's okay for a
Yeah.
little while. But man, there are some low lows here.
I
do think it's not as bad as people made it out to be.
It's not. I think I'm leaning on Morbius being worse right now, mainly because Morbius had what felt like maybe higher power in terms of like budget and cinematography. I don't know. It's hard to compare, but
in a
that
weird
was
way,
not great.
like knowing what Madam Web is as a comics character, I don't want to say impressed is the right word, but they kind of milked blood out of a stone here. Like there's not really a movie to be made from Madam Web, and
No.
I mean it's not good, but they did it.
But the way, like you said, there was a decent idea in there. To be honest with you, I for some reason they just didn't really. I don't know. Sony did what I think they thought would get butts in seats, and they put some good stars in it, and went from there.
And at least they made her blind. We were all nervous about that.
I wish I had been blind for the beginning of the movie. So.
Wow, is that the Letterboxd review?
Wish
exactly. Madam Web gets blind in the third act. I wish I went blind in the first act.
Because again, the movie is so descriptive with the exposition, like you don't need to see it.
No, you don't. I am going to fast forward just to see. I don't think there is, but I want to see if there is a post-credits scene. Long credits. No, there's nothing. All right, Cycling, that's Madam Web. Final thoughts.
We did it. So again, I already said I didn't think it was as bad as I expected. I also, while it was bad in a lot of senses, like we talked about in the dialogue, in the cinematography, and the filmmaking, it wasn't bad. It was bad, not like fun bad. Like Morbius was fun to make fun of because it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
This movie, it just, I'll stick to this. It felt like I was watching a made-for-TV movie, and you know what you're getting when you watch a made-for-TV movie, right? So it just kind of felt like that. With Morbius, it was like, this is horribly hilarious. Like I was having fun watching it. This one, I was just like, it didn't offer me anything. I'd probably never watch it again. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It's a movie that's going to have existed. You know, that's about it.
And I think we should cut out the whole trip back to Peru because it just kind of rehashes exposition. It saves us 15 minutes. Runtime. You can't have this movie be an hour 56. Like, I'm sorry.
No, that's obnoxious. What are your final thoughts?
Again, not good. I don't. So the people that like raved about it being the worst movie of all time, that's obviously hyperbole. It's definitely the worst. Like it's probably the worst movie of the year. I nominated it for the Brosker. We did for worst movie. There's just so much wrong with it, but like you said, there are like if you made me pick out a few positives, I think I could. And I mean, again, we watched it with subtitles the whole time, but at least Dakota Johnson's performance seemed pretty admirable. Everyone else had pretty brutal dialogue, but she was okay.
She tried, that's for sure.
Yeah, I honestly expected her to have mailed it in completely. She did not do that from what I could tell. And I did like Adam Scott as Uncle Ben, although I know you felt like he was sort of like shoehorned into the film.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not again, it doesn't bother me necessarily, but I feel like they sacrificed what could have been maybe a better emotional character for her, rather than a platonic coworker, for the benefit of connecting it even more to Peter Parker. I see why they did it, but I just think the movie could have been, like you said when we talked about making the movie in the Amazon or Peru, like making this her movie, right? And like we'll get the connections of Spider-Man, but I think it took away from her, to be honest.
Yeah, and based on the way that they did this movie, I think this is like the point where people tell Sony, like, okay, I think we've dug too deep into the trove of IP that you have in the Spider-Verse from Marvel. Like we don't need to be making this character into a film. I'm trying to think of a better Batman. It would be like Lucius Fox getting like a whole movie, maybe even lower than that.
Yeah, probably lower than that, but somewhere around there, yeah, or one of the like mob figure, yeah, something like that, yeah.
It's like, what? How are we gonna make that a full? Like this person is not. Again, solo issue. She has like a 20 comic run and just pops up.
But we did it, man. That was a long movie. We did it.
Yeah, we made it through. All right. For our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli, I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek. We are the Bro for Scod podcast. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. You can find us on Twitter or Threads or what are we else on? YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, anywhere you find your podcast. Type in Bro Force Squad as 3 separate words. Check out everything we've ever done on our website, broforcesquad.com. Till next time, Cycli, I'm on Expedia. I'm looking up trips to the Amazon, and it just says reason for traveling. I think we're just going to put our mother's researching spiders, right?
I mean, if there's not another option, let me know, because I don't think there is.
Yeah, that's the only one on the drop down. So just like that.